On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks 6-game winning streak. Let's do it again. Three, two. On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks continue their winning streak to 6 games, and this one was a big one against the Chicago Bulls.
Coming up next, we'll tell you why the Mavericks are title contenders.
We will?
Of course we are.
And why Josh Green was key and has been incredible over the last couple games. Talk about that and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good! And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network. Joining me, as always, my co-host, contributor, writer, the streaking sun, the one more thing king. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
All right, we were halfway joking about this before we hit record, but I think this is the Mavs' biggest win of the season.
We were doing this like almost 2 games in a row, the best win of the season. So the Warriors game,
the Rockets game,
and then now this one. The last 2 home games have been the best 2 wins of the season.
Yeah, obviously you compare it to the Warriors game, Dirk night, everything considered with that. But this is where I make the difference in this game, because I think, not to discredit the Mavs, in the Warriors game, they did play great defense, played a good basketball game.
Held them to 82 points.
Held them to 82 points, which is insane. But I do feel like there's a part of it that was just an off night from Steph. And this game, it felt like the Bulls.
You think Steph scoring 3 points in the first half was an off night for Steph? Just a little bit.
And there were shots that he normally makes, and he just didn't. But it felt like tonight, in a night to where, DeRozan and Levine both had over 20. Vucevic was in double figures. Kobe White played well off the bench. It's not like we're looking at this Bulls team and saying, oh, DeRozan had 6 points in this game or whatever. Like,
they're missing a bunch of guys with health and safety protocols. That's not the case. The only guy they were really missing was Caruso.
Exactly. So I feel like this was a pretty good punch thrown at the Mavs from the Bulls. And the Mavs, man, they made it happen. And I found myself more hyped during this game and excited for the Mavs coming out of this game than I was after the Warriors game. And I think, in my opinion, this is the best win of the season for the Mavs.
It's definitely right up there. So the Mavericks win 113-99. They held the Bulls under 100 points, which is pretty good. Again, the Mavericks continuing this streak of playing some really good defense against these teams. And the Bulls were the number 1 team in the East, right? This is not just some team that's just been plucky and has been, decent over this last stretch. This team has been really good. This Bulls team has been good, and the Mavericks ended up beating them. Their defensive rating in this game was 106.5. Really good defensive rating for this team. The Mavericks offensive rating, 124. Really good offensive rating. A solid win for the Mavs. And you can't really hold anything back, right? You can't hold anything against them. The Mavs were missing KP. That's a bigger loss for the Mavs than Caruso for the Bulls, as good as Caruso has been for them, right? You want to think about that for a second? No. Jason Kidd also out and still out with health and safety protocol. Sean Sweeney, the assistant coach, fills in for him. And so the Mavericks missing their second best player and their coach. So you can't hold anything back from the Mavs in this win. It was absolutely a huge win for the Mavericks. Now, the key, I thought, was defense. The Mavericks were able to switch around. The Mavericks they've become such a cohesive team over this last stretch of games. You have all these wings that can switch around. Maxey has been so big on defense. He started the game out on DeRozan. He guarded Vooch for a stretch. He guards the rim. He switches out onto guys. Him being just a focal point on defense has been so massive for this Mavericks team. Then you throw in Dorian Finney-Smith playing some solid defense. You throw in Reggie Bullock getting out there and getting around. Josh Green playing 22 minutes in this game and being able to stay out there longer because he was contributing on offense. We'll talk about him a lot more a little later, but those guys all just getting after it and being a cohesive defensive unit was awesome for this team tonight.
Here's somebody tweeted a reply to one of my tweets after the game, and I thought this was something that summarized my thoughts a lot. This was Immaculate Vibes 41. Literally, his name's Father of Immaculate Vibes. Let's go. Great Avi of Dirk. But he said, The promising thing here is that it's been done with so many different combinations of lineups and matchups. The team as a whole has learned how to play in this defensive-minded and ball-movement offensive system, regardless of who are playing or rolling out on the court. And I wanted to highlight that because I think that's where I'm the most impressed right now. Because they've won, they're going on this streak with, it's not the exact, players, right? Like we saw it at the beginning. It was, Luka was out, and it was KP for a few games. And then, KP goes out, then Luka's back. And they're mixing and matching these guys, and they're making it happen different ways. And I feel like we've said this a million times. You can say it in football, you can say it in basketball. The best teams out there can win different ways. And that's where the Mavericks right now, they're winning with these different combinations, these different, we've seen Brunson and Luka start together for a bit now, but they're just winning in different ways. And I think that's where I'm coming out of these games, coming out of the 6-game stretch, to where they've beat arguably the two best teams in both conferences, winning in a different ways each time. So I can't praise them enough right now.
Yeah, I would put the Nets there as the best team in the other conference.
Well, I just
Kyrie
like
plays,
record-wise.
but right, you're right.
Yeah.
And Jalen Brunson was asked after the game. Luke Askew, friend of the pod from Mavs Moneyball, was like, "Can we get a vibes check after all this stuff?"
Great vibes, man. It's great vibes, like great vibes. Yeah, great vibes. No, sensational vibes, and like the vibes are immaculate.
They are for the Mavs right now, and it's been incredible to watch. It's been great to see. You mentioned how the Mavs have to win in different ways. They have learned how to score in different ways, defend in different ways, right? That's sort of what has made this team good over this last stretch. They've been able to figure out ways to defend Vooch, defend Steph, defend Levine and DeRozan.
How many games under 100 now? You tweeted it out.
Ooh, it was they held the Nuggets, the Warriors, and the Bulls under 100 points. Like all three of those teams. So it hasn't. I don't know if it's been like in a row, but the Mavericks have played some incredible defense. Yeah, the Bulls under 100, the Rockets got over 100, but just barely. Warriors under 100, Nuggets under 100, Thunder. And then the both Sacramento games, actually, even though the Mavs lost that first one, but it's a lot that the Mavs are holding these teams. The Mavs play a little slower pace, and so you take that into account. But defending these guys in different ways. Zach LaVine, 7 of 21 from the field in this game. In the fourth quarter, Zach LaVine only had 1 of 3. He only hit 1 of 3 shots. He only took 3 shots in the fourth quarter. Him and DeRozan combined for 6 shots in the fourth quarter. That's defense. That's ball denial. That is making the Bulls and forcing the Bulls to do something else. The Mavs started trapping DeRozan in the fourth quarter. They started let's just get the ball out of his hands and try to get Lonzo and Troy Brown Jr. and Ayo DeSumo and Kobe White. Like, let's try to get these guys to beat us instead of Levine and DeRozan, and it worked tonight.
I freaking love. If y'all listen to any of our pre-draft stuff, I liked Ayo, and I love that he is he's excelling with the Bulls this year, even though I thought he was going to join Luka's list of random players that he hates across the league.
You thought for sure. I thought for sure Luka was going to get a tech in this game, but he came out.
Well, early on, I mean, refs were not friendly with the whistle towards Luka early on. I was like, you're about to get this tech, and I'm going to be like, okay.
That's what it is. The Mavs had at halftime, the Mavs had 1 free throw, and it was from a Josh Green and 1 that was so obvious. It's like, okay, well, that's all they're getting. And Luka was going in the paint a lot. It's not like they were taking a bunch of jumpers either.
But like you said, they doubled DeMar a little bit in the second half. He's so dang good in the mid range. It feels like he can get whatever shot he wants. Some of the shots he hit tonight.
I think all of his shots tonight were really tough.
Yeah,
I don't know if he hit an easy shot all night.
That was what I was about to say. I mean, a lot of these shots he was hitting were just, I feel like he was jumping when he wasn't even looking at the basket. He was jumping and turning and just draining it. That's just how he is. He's one of the best clutch, players in the entire NBA. And I thought they did really good on him late. You just can't praise their defense enough right now. You can't. There's 2 things right now that I know some people probably out there trying to do their victory laps on either Josh Green or this defense, but there's 2 things that kind of came out of nowhere, and that is how good the Mavericks are defensively right now, and how well Josh Green has been playing.
He has. Josh
Ball Garris is like, all right. Which is it? I haven't seen him tweet about Mavs since the Mavs have went on a winning streak. Is that a coincidence, or did I miss something, or the Mavs need to lose for Bob to tweet again? Or?
Yes, sir. That's what you do.
All right, coming up, let's get into
Hot man, the hot player.
The hot player for me is Josh Green. We're going to get into him. We're going to talk about his impact, how he's kind of come onto the scene, and how he's become viable for the Dallas Mavericks. What did I just say?
Talk about that phrasing on this ad break.
Talk about all that and more on today's. Talk about all that. We'll talk about that coming up. Why did I just go back into our intro? Like, my brain is only built to do like the intro.
Coming up next.
Coming up.
I'm Luka Doncic and
boom. All right, let me tell you about Built Bar. Built Bar is a protein bar. It tastes like a candy bar. They're absolutely delicious. You have to try them. I took one to the game with me tonight. Coconut brownie chunk. I may have to re-up in a little bit. I'm running low, and so I need to re-up. Coconut brownie chunk. I ordered them multiple boxes at a time just because I'm nervous that they're going to run out again. So you need to as well. 150 calories, 15 grams of protein, 7 grams of sugar. I know there's some of you out there using the MyFitnessPal, using the LifeSum, using those apps out there, and you have to track your macros, track what you're putting into your body. 150 calories, that's nothing. That is nothing for you, especially if you have the calorie intake that I do with my size. So go get one of those. Use the promo code LOCKED15. You get 15% off your entire order at built.com. You can try all kinds of things. They have bites right now. They're 50% off. Those are the smaller bars. So if you even want a smaller bite-sized snack, those are 50% off right now. Go check it out. Built.com. Again, promo code LOCKED15. All right, Isaac Harris. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every single day. We are free and available on all platforms now. Make your second listen after this show, the Locked On Now podcast. You'll get nightly recaps of every NBA game with analysis from our local experts, including me. You'll hear from me after the Mavs Bulls game. You'll also hear from Matt Peck on the Bulls side of things. I thought his insight was interesting for it. Listen to Locked On Now app on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you watch, or you can go to the YouTube channel Locked On NBA. All right, Isaac. So we've talked about, this defense for the Mavs, how they've come about it. And I think the emergence of Josh Green has upped that defense in a way, right? Him being able to play 22 minutes and getting to that point where the Mavericks now not just have Maxey and Dorian, who they've had forever. They add Reggie Bullock this offseason. He's been an asset on defense as well. And then Josh Green is basically an addition because he just did not play besides the crazy COVID stretch the Mavericks had last year. He plays in this game. His defense has been an asset to this team, and then he scores 18 points just to cap it off, and just to add to it, and that's been massive for the Mavs.
Oh, he swung the game. I mean, I feel like we've said this a couple of games where, oh man, Josh Green came in the game and just changed the game, but I feel like he really did swing the game. I mean, like you said, he 18 this game, career high. He was a +9. Game after scoring 17 points, which was his career high, right? Followed it up with it. Yeah, and he hit the 1-3 that he took in this game. I mean, I think that's the next level for him is his shooting. We all know that. He knows that. He had to hit that 3, right? That 3 was an incredible. We'll talk about this stretch a little bit, but beginning of the fourth quarter, Luka was falling down. He drives into the paint and falls over. And while he's falling over, it was just like that Memphis shot, except for instead of a shot, it was a pass. He kicked it over to Josh Green wide open in the corner. And Luka was just looking from the ground like, oh, you SOB, you better make this shot. I just fell down and it was a nice pass. Risked everything to get this pass over to you, and he nails it. So he hits that 3. He's still got to work on his form and stuff. But man, I feel like that's what all the Mavs fans are talking about right now. I mean, I got text tonight about him. Twitter's just talking about him because, I think in even one of the solo pods I did when you were out I did like a mini journey of Josh Green, of him getting drafted to DMPCDs to, man, how does Josh feel? Frank Ntilikina came in, just passed him up. And it's like, we just kind of thought he was an afterthought. Like I joked with you after the game and saying, hey, you think Mavs fans just want him as a throw-in for a Dragic deal right now? Yeah, and still, do they still want that? I mean, that was realistic, how many months ago for fans, it was realistic. Yes, for a lot of fans out there, it was like, oh, just throw him in there in a potential Dragic deal. And now it's like, is he a young piece with this team? And I'm going to go a step further, and this might be a little hot take-ish a little bit here, but when fully healthy, KP's back. You have a starting lineup of KP and Dwight and Dorian and Brunson and Luka. And let's just say you're running a tight rotation, 8-man rotation. It's playoffs. Why does Josh Green not play over Tim Hardaway Jr.? It's Reggie Bullock, it's Maxey. Those are locks coming off the bench. And I'm just saying right now, like I get the money dispute, I get all of that. And I get that Tim Hardaway Jr. is a really good, 3-point shooter. And hey, you need the jolt of offense. But I'm just saying, like, that's just something I'm entertaining right now of like, why doesn't Josh Green play over Tim Hardaway if it's an 8-man type of rotation in a playoff series? I just wanted to toss that out there.
Whew. I can feel the cinders. The cinders are just burning under that take. The way that Tim Hardaway is playing right now, and the way Josh Green is playing right now, makes that take not as hot as it normally would be, right? And I think the reason why Tim would be out there is that jolt of offense. Is he's one more guy that can hit a shot when, like you take Tim out of that lineup, all of a sudden you got some shaky 3-point shooters. Bullock has been kind of a shaky 3-point shooter. Dorian and Maxey have been really solid, but they're not going to do anything besides like stand still, spot up shots. Tim can do a little bit on the move. You have him hitting those mid-range shots that he can.
Yeah.
He's just a streaky guy. You get, every third night from him is awesome. And then the other 2 nights are just bad right now. And they're not even like decent. They're bad right now. Yeah. Every other
But I get it too. Like Tim's gonna have the game where he puts up like 26 and he hits.
That's the why.
Yeah, and so I get all of that. I'm just saying that Josh has been playing so well as of late, and when you look at all the things that he does well and how those strengths complement this team, and they complement a Luka, they complement a Jalen Brunson. His cutting ability, excellent. Like he is. Sometimes it feels like he is the only guy out there that's moving without the ball. And I don't have his shot chart in front of me, but he was 8 of 10 from the field. How many of those 8, baskets were within, 12 feet from the basket? Like
all of them, except for the 1-3.
Yeah. So
all of them were within like around the rim.
Yeah. So like, that's the type of stuff that he just brings, all the intangible types. And so anyway, I'm really proud of him. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for the Mavs like organization on that, because him being good, it really does matter to this team on this rookie contract and all of that. So, hats off to Josh. He changed the game tonight.
Absolutely. He absolutely changed the game. And I don't want to take away too much from Josh Green, but one of the other reasons why you played Tim over Josh is because it would just be like teams threatening Josh Green to shoot every time on defense, right? They would just like pull a guy away from Josh. But the thing is the cutting, right? The cutting kind of negates that a little bit. Yeah. And we saw that in this game where if they're going to back off of Josh Green, then he's going to cut and he's going to find a way to get into the paint. And he said after the game, when you get into the paint, good things happen. And so he did that. He's able to hit guys. He only had 1 assist in this game, but it was a really good pass.
And when the ball's moving, that's when cutting's even more important. Like, right. When it's ISO ball and it's just like, hey, one guy dribbling. That's when it's like, oh my gosh, they're just going to sag off this guy. But if they're all moving without the ball and cutting and passing and all this stuff, that's where his strengths come into play a lot. So I'm not saying I'm fully there. It's just something I was thinking about. I'm like, dang, there might be times that I might prefer Josh out there than Tim if you had to choose. Now you can always run a 9-man rotation. It'll be fine. There's enough minutes for them. It's just when KP comes back, I'll be interested to see how those things shake out.
And if you look at the minutes in this game, that's not a conversation that coaches are having, right? Like,
no, yeah. I mean, it's fine in a game like this, but how does the fan base feel whenever KP's back, everybody's fully healthy, and Josh Green, just got 11 minutes in the game, and we're like,
and it goes back to the question we've been asking, we still haven't seen yet because KP hasn't been back. Can the Mavs keep up this level of defense with Luka, KP, Brunson, and Tim Hardaway Jr. all in the rotation? Is it possible, right? Can they do that? We don't know that yet. We've seen it with all of them except for like one, right? It's Luka's out, or KP is out, or Tim Hardaway was out. But can they do it with all 4 of those guys? I don't think they can keep it up with all 4 of those guys on the court at the same time. So then, okay, who's the odd man out then? Josh Green coming in brings a positive defensive player, and then now his cutting and the other things he's brought has made him viable to keep playing. And so
you didn't want to bring Moses in, or
Moses is struggling right now. Moses is not doing the best right now. But yeah, Josh Green, we can't say enough good things about him. His got an and one play. He had a couple other drives, his putbacks, like just the way
The
that
lobs,
he
like in
can the lob
transition.
finishes.
What is this Mavericks team of
I know.
throwing lobs and running a fast break? I'm like, what is this? What are we watching?
Well, they're getting stops. We haven't seen this Mavericks team in like 3 years actually get real stops on defense, and that's what leads to these outlets and the fast breaks and all that kind of stuff. We just haven't seen it. Yeah, the Mavs had they only had 13 fast break points tonight, but it feels like a ton to us because we're not used to it.
Yeah, and we're not used to, dunks. Like we're just not
in general.
Well, it's just, I mean, typically, I mean, how many play? That's why Dennis, when Dennis first came in, we're like, whoa, perimeter guy that can dunk. What are we doing? Because normally it's just our role man. It's like, all right, Brandon Wrights of the world, Tyson, Dwight Powell, stuff like that. It's like, all right. So it's kind of cool when you see Josh Green as a perimeter guy going and throw it down.
Guys that are not 7 feet can dunk. Wow. Who knew that? All right, coming up, let's get into the rest of this game. We have a lot more stuff to talk about. Jalen Brunson. Well, we haven't even talked about Luka really at all. 22, 14, and 14.
Just a triple-double. Who cares?
Just a 20, 14, and 14 triple-double. We'll talk about him. Jalen Brunson was the full box of Kraft macaroni and cheese tonight with his craftiness. I want to talk about him a little bit. We'll get into that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about BetOnline.ag.
Tell me about it, Nick.
By the time you're listening to this, the playoffs are probably set, Isaac.
That's true.
In the NFL, the playoffs are set. It seems like, so the Cowboys opening up against the 49ers, 3-point favorite at home. That's coming on Sunday, the 16th. You feel like the Cowboys got that one? You feel 3 points?
Yeah, they got that.
Take those points. Go ahead, bet on betonline.ag. Use the promo code LOCKEDON and get a 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Your Ravens in the playoffs are...
Whoa!
Do we have
take shots right now?
Do we have that matchup already?
Do you have Russell Westbrook's?
Do we
anything about that?
Do we have that matchup ready? Go to betonline.ag. Use the promo code LOCKDOWN. Again, you'll get a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, Isaac Harris. We talked about Josh Green. We talked about the defense. Those are the big things in this game, but it doesn't happen without Luka. Let's just be very clear about this, right? This game is not where it is without Luka. Josh Green does not score as many points as he does without the attention that Luka brings. He does not take advantage of that. Like all the rest of these guys, it all kind of comes down to Luka at times. And he did not shoot the ball well. His first half, he was absolutely brutal trying to just hit stuff around the rim. Both of these teams, and I think we were texting about this at the beginning of the game, both of these teams have so many guys at different points during the game that you can attack, right? You can attack Tim Hardaway Jr. On the other side, you can attack Levine and DeRozan. You can attack Vooch, and the Mavs were attacking Vooch a lot in this game. Nikola Vucevic in the pick and roll was just all over the place. Okay, do I ice? Do I step up to the ball handler? What do I do? And then he just kept getting caught in the middle, and the Mavs were taking advantage of it. So Luka tried to do that, and he kept trying to finish at the rim like he normally does, and he missed a bunch of bunnies at the rim. A lot of them with contact, and that's why he was getting mad early, but he shook it off, and he finished the game with 22, 14, and 14. Because remember the beginning of the year when we were like, Luka's going to get like double-digit assists all the time as soon as these guys start hitting shots, and the Mavs went 16 of 36 from 3, and he had 14 assists.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. He didn't have the greatest shooting tonight, 8 of 23. Even though he wasn't getting the whistle, I thought he kind of fell into the trap of trying to get the whistle, even above making the.
How about this? Luka 8 of 20, 8 of 23 from the floor, 34%.
Yeah.
KP didn't play, and the Mavs still beat the number 1 team in the East by 14 points.
Yeah.
Like just that sentence right there probably makes it the best win for the Mavs.
Yeah, for sure. And now I'll say this with Luka. This is why I'm not worried about it when it comes to like him starting in the All-Star game, because 14 points, 14 assists, 14 rebounds, 22 points. I really think that they're going to continue going on this run. They're going to lose here, in it coming up probably at some point, but they're still going to continue hovering in this probably 5 to 6 in the West, in my opinion. And his assist and rebound numbers, I think, will go up. So that's why I'm not worried one bit. Luka Doncic as the 5th seed in the West, averaging 27, 9, and 9, starting in the Western Conference. I think I love Ja. Block tonight was amazing, but I think Luka's got that.
I think this next round of voting, we're going to see Luka's vote total go way up.
Yeah, me too.
And KP's not playing. So for those of you that are like, why do you always say vote for Luka and not vote for KP?
Vote for Kristaps Porzingis, everyone.
Yeah, vote
Let's
for KP.
get him in the top 10. He deserves it.
He's just not playing right now, so I'm not sure we're not sure we're gonna see the same bump. But yeah, Luka in this game, the passing. I mentioned that pass to Josh Green early in the fourth quarter. I thought that was a huge stretch for the Mavs. The Mavs had a really good the moments that the Mavs won this game was at the end of the second quarter when the Mavericks had been basically down by 10 since the beginning of the first quarter. They had been just flirting with, all right, we're coming back. No, we're not. We're going to stay with this 10-point. And then the Mavs just went on this little stretch. They went on a 10-4 stretch with about 4 minutes left in the second quarter. And it was Josh Green doing this. Josh Green had an and one. He had a kick out to Dorian for a three. He took a charge against Zach LaVine. And then Luka kicked over to Maxey for this incredible rhythm three. And the Mavericks were all of a sudden on a 9-0 run to end the second quarter, and they were within one. And so it was like this 10-point lead that the Bulls had the entire first half, all of a sudden just vanished. And so the Mavs went into halftime. They come out, and in the beginning of the third quarter, Luka had not been shooting well, and he ends up getting, an and one in the paint. He finally gets one of those close to the basket to drop. Pick and roll with Vooch, hits a jumper, and so Luka's jumper just started to go, right? The first couple of baskets were Luka, and I felt like the end of that second quarter, the beginning of that third quarter was the big turning point for the Mavs.
Yeah, I feel like they took the punches, and that's where I was so impressed. Like, if you can take the punch, multiple punches from really good teams and not get knocked out, and you could stay in it and come back and tie and take the lead and all that. Like, I feel like they knocked out. I feel like they took a couple punches tonight, and specifically in that second quarter, they took that, and you kind of you're in the danger zone a little bit. I'm like, all right, Bulls are up, double figures. What's going to happen here? Is this going to turn into a blowout? The Mavericks going to answer the punch, and they answered, and they made it a 1-point game going into halftime, and I was super impressed by that.
Yeah, that was exactly what you said. They took that punch. They responded to it at the beginning of the third quarter. They continued that momentum. Luka hit a couple of buckets. Then, you had the Josh Green drive and finish through contact. Then you had Luka to Josh Green for the alley-oop. And all of a sudden, it was an 8-point lead for the Mavs at the beginning of the third quarter. And so it completely flipped. End of the second quarter, beginning of the third quarter. And then when the Mavs really took it over was that stretch I'm just talking about was in the fourth quarter. The beginning of the fourth quarter was when the Mavericks really extended that lead. It became a 9-point lead with the Josh Green alley-oop. And then they had a 19-9 start to the fourth quarter. And that right there took them to, the 10-point lead that they had. And then they just basically kept it the rest of the game.
So can I transition to a talking point about Josh Green and Brunson? Or you got something about the game? So an angle of this bigger picture here that I know we probably don't want to talk about because we love this team right now is quietly the biggest thing when it comes to the trade deadline and the trade season for the Mavericks over the past year is, hey, the Mavericks just don't have assets, right? Like they don't have young pieces. They don't have any of the stuff. Like, they got some contracts, but they can never be in the bidding game for some of these people. Now, we love JB. We love Josh Green, but it's not just, hey, they're playing well for this team right now, and the Mavericks have won 6 games in a row and all this stuff. Quietly, they're forming a couple pieces here that are young, good pieces that teams across the league are looking at these guys saying, hey, like, okay, we see what Jalen Brunson's doing right now. We know his contract's up this summer. We see Josh Green, man, he can play defense, all this stuff. So I'm just saying, quietly, that narrative of the Mavericks don't have any assets, I think is shifting just a little bit of, now I'm not saying they should do anything. I don't know what that even looks like, but I'm just saying, like, we've kind of operated with Mavericks don't really have anything to, okay, I could see some teams being very intrigued with some Mavericks, pieces now.
Could you attach Brunson and or Josh Green to a Tim Hardaway Jr., right? Can you do some things like that where it's not all of a sudden a negative asset? Like that's what I think those are the things that you're talking about now.
Well, I know people in the comments are like, no, man, I'm just throwing it out there of like, hey,
that's another positive.
It's a positive that if they keep the whole band together, I was just texting somebody that, about this tonight saying, oh man, they have all these pieces. And if they keep it together, then they can grow together. They're all young and all this stuff that they do that. Awesome.
Great.
But there's also, that's just the angle we've had to like live in, right? Now there's another angle of like, well, maybe there is another route to where if a player is, being shopped around the deadline, they're like, I don't think the Mavericks are completely out of it now in these conversations of if they do see somebody out there that could be a better fit. So that's all I'm saying is that's just a quiet narrative of, hey, that's another added bonus to the young guys on this team playing really well.
I love Isaac with the, hey, we just had a great win or 6-game win streak. Hey, we could trade all these guys.
I didn't say that. I'm trying to dance around this really bad right now. Okay, let me just throw this one more thing. We didn't cover this at the top, a little housekeeping, but Marquise Chris, second 10-day, runs up on Monday.
Yeah.
The Mavericks have to make a roster move if they want to keep him. So by the time you listen to this podcast, you might have seen a roster move for them to keep Marquise Chris for the rest of the season. If not, it could very well happen on Monday. I don't know what that is. We'll see if it's.
Well, the options are just release Willie Cauley-Stein and eat the rest of his contract. He makes $4.1 million this year, which is, by the way, more than Dorian Finney-Smith, which is kind of wild. But it's either just eat the money of Willie Cauley-Stein or find a trade for him, right? I mean, they're not getting rid of anybody else right now.
I mean, there's.
Do you see any other moves? I mean, Willie's just been out for personal reasons for over a month now. We don't know why, or at least the media doesn't know why. I'm sure the team does, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I think the whole thing with Willie is the dude makes $4 million. Where if you do entertain the trade market, then that's money you can attach in a deal. So, I mean, I think immediately you look at the bottom of the the cap sheet there and say, okay, well, is there somebody on the team that you could waive and it's not as big as of a cap hit. I know they guaranteed Moses Brown, money and stuff the other day, but it's, there's this, Trey Burke makes less money than Willie Cauley-Stein. I get the Willie angle because he's a big,
no, just because he's been out.
Yeah.
If it was Trey Burke that had been out for personal reasons for the last month and a half, then we would probably say Trey Burke then.
True. I still think, obviously their preferred route would probably be, hey, let's make a trade with somebody. Let's, trade whoever it is, open up a spot kind of, at the end of the bench. But we'll see. I would just say I would be very, very surprised if Marquise Chris is just gone and he signs with another team and he's not a Maverick, because I think he's played well enough to where he should be on the Mavs.
There's a couple more Mavs we need to talk about in this game, though, that I want to get to. Jalen Brunson, like I said, entire box of Kraft macaroni and cheese. Like, he just was so crafty in this game. 8 of 10 from the floor, hit 1 3 that he hit, 17 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, 1 turnover. I talked about his turnovers early. Luka also had only 4 turnovers in this game. The Mavericks continuing to take care of the ball has been massive for this team. Brunson has just become, you mentioned he's a positive trade asset. He definitely is, because, man, he just does some things that I thought he outplayed LaVine in this game. Is that crazy to say? He had 17 points. He had 3 less points, but I thought that there was just times when he was more impactful.
I could hear that. Yeah.
3 points difference in what you expect from LaVine versus what you expect from Brunson.
Yeah, he had a bully ball move, with
against LaVine.
Well, yeah, on LaVine, but he had one on DeRozan too. Of just, I'm just gonna go right at you. And I've said this before, but like his ability this season to just not spot up, just pull up off the dribble so fast out in the mid range, in the paint. It's one of the biggest differences I've noticed of him this season.
Yeah, it's just he fine-tuned that game where he just, I'm talking about crafty. I'm like, okay, these moves that the move he pulled off against LaVine was on the left block, and he gets LaVine down into the post, and he just stops and starts and changes his speed of his pump fake and of his footwork to the point where LaVine is just frozen, and then Brunson can pull up and get higher than Zach LaVine, even though Zach LaVine is a good 5 inches taller than Brunson, 6 inches taller than Brunson, but he can pull up over him because he stopped him right in his tracks. And so he's frozen and he can't jump off the ground as fast as Zach LaVine can jump to try and block something. And then also he can't jump fully against Brunson in the post because Brunson will just pull that pump fake out again against him and get him up in the air and then score against him and get fouled. So it's the craftiness of Jalen Brunson that has been such a big part of his game. He's a son of an NBA player, and so he, I think a lot of these NBA players.
Where you're going with that?
have learned lots of stuff.
NBA player,
son of an NBA player, Jalen Brunson is. Maxi Kleber, 6 of 9 from 3.
Oh, love this guy.
What a nice percentage from Maxi Kleber. 18 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, a block. We mentioned how crucial he is to the defensive end. He didn't even have to play all of 30 minutes either. which is big for them because they need to preserve his legs, Dorian's legs, Bullock's legs, like all these guys that have to defend these guys in space a lot. But Maxey hitting all those threes, I mean, it's been yes. I'm
His long distance minutes, went up. He's getting charged a little bit extra for his calls after tonight.
Oh yeah, we're calling collect. We're calling collect on Max and Cleveland now. Dorian Finney-Smith also continues his little run here, 4 of 7 from 3. Those guys, you just feel confident in their shot right now, and I think they feel confident in their shot now too. Those two guys have actually been the most consistent Mavericks from shooting from 3 all year, but they continue to be, and that has been just the rock of this Mavericks offense, it feels like.
Dorian quietly the heart of this team. 13 straight games in double figures for Dorian right now. One of the best stretches of his career.
Spent a lot of time guarding both DeRozan and LaVine in this game. A lot of time on LaVine. He started on him. And Bullock didn't get as many minutes as I expected him to get in this game. I found that kind of interesting. He only played 18 minutes. I'm curious if there's something going on with him. Sean Sweeney decided to go in a different direction. He played Tim almost 30 minutes. And so that was a very interesting move to me, but that's the direction he decided to go.
Shout out to Sweeney right now. His kind of first little gig here running the show. And
it feels a little Luke Walton on the Warriors-y, right? Like the coach leaves and then the interim comes in and gets his first couple wins, and then they're some of the biggest wins of the season, right? Remember that Warriors run?
No. Yeah, I like him. He's doing great right now.
Absolutely. He had a comment about Josh Green after the game I found really interesting. Our friend Kevin Gray asked him a question about Josh Green development, and he said, what kinds of things have you been trying to instill in Josh Green? And he says, well, with any player, you try to instill is what is the team fundamental that you need to know? And then what's the individual fundamental thing that you need to know? How does your game translate to the team first? And then how does it translate to improving your game? And I found that an interesting mindset about a player, right? Like, how does Josh Green? So he talked about his athleticism. He talked about his speed. He talked about all those things. And so to me, looking at that and thinking, okay, well, yes, athleticism and speed. How would you take that gift that he has, those traits that he has, and take it to a team fundamental? Well, cutting, right? That's exactly what you want him to do. Get out and fast break and cut. And those are the things that he's been doing. And so you see those points of emphasis with Josh Green, and now we're seeing them on the court pay off in a big way.
Yes, we are. I would keep on going, but we're already past our time, and whoever my boss is will get mad.
That's me. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every single day. We will be back tomorrow with another breakdown, and then we will always have your post games. You know that. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all platforms. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.